then hello everyone, here TBM crew. Today we are with Aaron Truss, Bethany Munroe, and Toby Campbell from Infra Violet. And it's been I have been looking forward to this chat for a long time. And please, yes, Aaron, tell us about yourself and your wonderful work you're doing, all your amazing projects you got going on.
Well, I've been trying to get hold of Toby for the past 3 years because he's got to do some. No, I'm joking. Everything's going really well. It's been obviously everyone's been going through the motions with what's happening, around the world, and still COVID is still around, but it hasn't stopped myself, and certainly hasn't stopped these two from getting on with the work. And we have. So in terms of me, I've just finished my run at the film festivals with Knox, the Rob Knox story, the hoodie I'm wearing, and that's picked up a few awards. We landed. I don't know if we discussed this before. Bless you. Before we got a distribution deal with a television company who are international called Woodcut.
That's amazing.
And it's absolutely incredible. They are currently pitching it to broadcasters around the world. So I can't say exactly who at the moment, but they are big contenders. And if we were to land one of them, it'll be absolutely incredible to have that exposure for my friend who was killed and to tell his story globally, not just in the UK. So hopefully you'll have it over where you are, and it'll be a fitting tribute. The Understudy, short horror film that Toby and Beth and myself worked on, that's been doing. That did pretty well last year. We picked up about 5 awards and did some film festivals, and it actually brings me on to a bit of news, actually, because us three will be working on a lovely little project in November, which will be coming up. We're really excited about it. The head of the Misty Moon Film Society, a lovely man called Stuart Morris, he runs these events in London, and he brings all sorts of folk down to his exhibitions or to the Cinema Museum in London. People who've been in Friday the 13th, a lot of Hammer horror movies. He's very well connected. He even has, and I'm very jealous of this, he has an original Freddy Krueger glove from the Dream Master, I think, and it's signed by Robert Englund, and he was showing me yesterday. So I intend to burgle him at the earliest opportunity. I know where he lives. He also has a Jason. I think he has several Jason masks, and he's got one of the machetes, which is not a toy. It's not a prop. It's actually incredibly sharp. So he uses it at the kebab shop.
I'm so jealous too.
Oh yeah, completely. Anyway, Stuart approached myself a few weeks back, and he said that Diane Franklin, who is you might know her from Amityville 2. You might know her from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. She's one of the princesses. Excellent. And she would like to do a film with him, a short film. And Stuart was looking for a director, and he said he remembered The Understudy and he wanted me to direct it. And
that's amazing.
And I thought, working with Diane Franklin and coming up with an original short story just for her, because she doesn't do short films. I had to get straight on the phone to Infra Violet, and I was like, guys, I need some music. I need some 80s music for this short horror film I'm doing. And we're getting the band back together again, as it were. So we're incredibly excited.
Wow, I can only imagine. Wow, for it. So happy to hear that. You deserve it so much, really.
Thank you very much. I remember I was in the supermarket when I was telling Toby. I was looking at baked beans or something, and I just stopped and I was like, I have to tell him what's going on because I can't contain it. So as soon as these guys were on board, I knew we had a surefire hit, and there will be more people being announced soon, along with some sort of teaser or something. But you're getting an exclusive here because I haven't really said anything to anyone. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's also, you've been super busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't slept in years.
I'm so happy to hear that, really, so much. You deserve it so much, and your work. And Toby and Bethany, I think you also have news on your part, right?
Yeah, we've been releasing a lot of music. We released, I think since we last spoke, we released our album. We did pretty well. We put it out on vinyl and cassette tape and CD, and we just released a new single as well.
Yeah, we released a new single yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday. We're just in time.
Yes.
That's amazing.
We've got,
but it's not an April Fool.
no, it is real.
Yeah.
And, we've got a tour coming up in July as well.
Yeah. So it's a UK tour, hopefully going all over. Yeah, we've got some good artists on it. Like we're doing a headline show with No Arcades in New York, Northampton, a few other bands.
Yeah, as well.
We've got to announce all the dates and all the bands yet, but that's happening soon.
That's
awesome. Very busy.
Wow.
And we've been, I've been pretty busy with Aaron's latest project as well, Cult of VHS, which I'm sure we're yet to talk about.
And just out of curiosity, how did you get to know each other? What's your origins together?
Me and Aaron worked together. Me and Beth got together, how long is it now? A couple of years ago. I saw Beth play a concert as her solo music in New Cross in South London. Yes, it is South London, isn't it? And then I sent her an email, and we got together to do synth music, which is
at the beginning of lockdown. Because we suddenly all our plans and all our work fell through. So you emailed me being like, just a casual thing to play about with for a while, and here we are.
And with our films, Aaron was the guy I knew at work that always liked to make a lot of extra films. Actually, his own creative projects outside of our day jobs, which is how we started working together. And it's taken off in big ways.
I think the conversation went, you know how busy we are? Let's be more busy.
It is, great. We always wanted to get more into doing film scores and things like that. A lot of bands in our genre of music doing the 80s synth stuff dabble a lot in film because it works so well to screen. So we've always wanted to venture more into that, and this is the perfect way for us to get that out there.
And one of my favorite tracks that you've ever done is always going to be Nightmares. I occasionally listen to it on the train, which sounds a bit menacing, but it is such a great tune. And I'm so it's a great start to the day, but it's just so atmospheric, and I'm so lucky I bagged it with you guys because some other fucker would have got it, and I don't want that. I want to have that track for the understudy. So thank you so much for that, guys.
It was too dark to put out in our normal music, but then when you said you need a track for a horror film, it's well, this is the perfect track because it's too dark for us to put out as a single, but it works perfectly well to screen.
I think so, yeah. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with for the project in November.
And how is it to work? How is it to work together? How is the process? Is it first the idea and then the music, or is it first the music and then the idea? How does that work?
Well, I don't know. I mean, with the understudy, we had a song that we tweaked and worked to the film already, but I think with the new projects, we're probably going to. I mean, I sent you an email the other day, Aaron, didn't I, saying if you have a script or a synopsis, we'll read that and then try and write something. So I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, a lot of scores you come up with the song, and then once you put it to picture, you kind of have to tweak stuff to work with the timing of the film. But yeah, it's kind of just finding something that fits the mood and then tweaking it to work with what's happening on screen. And a lot of it is kind of it's just fitting the mood, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I think
No.
Go on, you go.
Go, Bethany.
All I was going to say is we do kind of churn out stuff sort of fairly quick, and we do come up with a lot of like half-finished ideas. And so sometimes people will come to us or we'll get an idea and we can just kind of like pluck at something we already have.
There's always stuff waiting in the wings.
Yeah. So
okay. Okay.
We can and do write stuff from scratch to a brief. And sometimes Toby writes first and sometimes I write first. It's just, there's no one way that we approach it.
Yeah.
We just kind of quantity first and sometimes quality follows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the theme tune for this new film to be 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how long my train journey is. Nothing to do with the film.
Okay, yeah, just a personal soundtrack for you.
Yeah, screw the film. I just want a soundtrack now for myself. No, but I do remember approaching Toby for the understudy, and it was almost pathetic in a way, because I knew about Infra Violet, and I loved the tracks that I'd heard, and I said to him, can you do me a Fog? Can you do me a John Carpenter? Can you just do something that sounds like the John Carpenter music? And and it was purely coincidental. They both had something that was kind of waiting in the wings but never used. So we were very lucky at that point. But with this going forward, I imagine, we have a film title that I can announce. We know what it's going to be called. It's going to be called Pareidolia. Pareidolia is the definition given to someone who sees faces in things that aren't there. So clouds, the bushes, little things. It's not actually anything. It's just the mind making you think it's a face.
Yes.
Is that not happens to everyone, or am I just suddenly realizing I have a condition?
No, just you. This is the film. This is the film right now.
Oh my god, that's so
No, it happens to everyone. It's very common. It's also the same with audio, when you get a lot of ghost hunting, paranormal stuff, and they're listening to like, and it's like, I can hear it. It's Satan. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a pigeon.
It's all in your head.
It happens a lot. Yes. When you watch these documentaries about haunted houses and all of that, and they just play a sound and it clearly says something, and I'm like, well, okay, clearly I didn't hear anything. I heard taco.
Taco.
Yes.
As a hungry ghost.
We're getting into most haunted territory now.
Yeah, most haunted restaurants, I think. But I do. The idea itself is that it can happen to anyone, but we're taking a very sinister twist on this, and
it's a very inspiring idea for musically. There's a lot of things we can do with that.
Yeah, and the great thing is, we've got Infraviolet on the music again, but the great thing is the collaboration that we have. That the team has expanded slightly from the understudy, so I won't be writing the film this time. Excuse me, I won't be writing the film this time. My father is going to be writing it. And my father, he's written a novel before, sort of fantasy horror novel called Gape.
Yeah.
Linked to the description below. And he very much grew up in the 80s of, video nasties and Freddy Krueger and things like that. And he's in the cult of VHS as well. Thanks, Toby. And it was great. Just I'm having sessions talking to him about it, sometimes in the pub, other times in the pub, and and we're coming up with some great stuff. And we just, because I'm my father's son, I know how he thinks, he knows how I think, and it's just a really great collaboration between myself and my dad. So to have him on board means a lot to me from a personal perspective. And then we have Stuart Morris, as I was saying earlier, from the Misty Moon Film Society. And he's a fantastic bloke. He's a fantastic producer as well. And he knows what he wants. And his connections we're just incredibly lucky to have his connections, I think, and just his way of thinking about things and his complete respect of horror movies of yesterday, if that makes sense. We were saying earlier, Ma, weren't we, that horror movies aren't as great as they used to be. They're all big budget pieces of trash. They're not like we have to saying they're not like how they used to make them, and we're totally, on that Elm Street, Halloween, Friday 13th vibe where we all sort of share the same passion, and musically as well with Infraviolet, because I listened to their new single on the train just to change it up, and it's very much like an anthem. It does remind me of a soundtrack to a 80s teen movie, which I absolutely adore.
Yeah, Beth wrote that one. And then when she first sent me the demo, I was like, this is something straight out of a John Hughes film.
It really is, but it's different from your current catalogue. It feels more mainstream than I watched on Netflix the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Oh, what do you think about it?
I thought it was terrible. I don't think I finished it.
I didn't either.
No, I like, Toby, I liked Halloween, the recent Halloween movies that they've done. What was it? Halloween and Halloween Kills?
Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills, I think.
Yes.
I loved those films. But I think they were done respectfully. I mean, there were bits in it where I thought, okay, this is a bit strange, but I think it was done with a lot of respect. Whereas the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, kind of felt like it was copying the same formula as the Halloween one, and man, it was terrible.
A lot of the newer films have kind of just recycling the same form. Like that new Ghostbusters film that came out a while ago, it was just recycling Ghostbusters. There seems to be a lot of the nostalgia counter club going on with movies of recent. It's like, oh, you liked that film from your childhood, let's just do that again with a new cast and make you feel the same feelings. Hollywood needs to champion some fresh ideas if it's going to be more than just regurgitating nostalgia.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think A21 are doing quite well with their films, not even just the horror stuff, but A21 seem to be churning out some really great.
They're one of those studios that do keep doing consistently good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised no one's sort of taken a look and gone, hey, what they're doing is really good. Everyone seems to like it. Let's do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm not sure if they remake movies because they have no longer new ideas in horror in the commercial area, so to speak, or is it that they rely on people already liking things? I mean, if they like Jason Voorhees, then let's just make more of Jason Voorhees. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly sure of what's the reason behind, but sometimes there are things that I think they should be left behind, like a legend. That's okay. It's there. It's not finished. Let's leave the mystery.
Like Cliff Richard.
Yes. I think it's much better.
They won't leave it behind because they know.
Yeah. So
what nostalgia is profitable. So there's nothing that they won't turn over.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the reason why they made so many bloody Jason and Freddy films back in the day was because it was funding so many other projects at New Line Cinema and Paramount. So that was, essential for them for getting, if again, it's the house that Freddy built, New Line Cinema. So if you didn't have Freddy Krueger, you wouldn't have had Lord of the Rings or any of the other great things that Warner went on to go and create. And, but nowadays I think people just do it so they can keep their hands on the copyright. Because after a certain period of time, if you don't make a film or use the, characters from a certain franchise, or for example, the rights will revert to whoever, and that's why there's so many bloody studios for Halloween. The amount of times it's been rebooted and whatever, it's a different studio coming over and taking over and doing their fresh take. But I really like what they've done with the new Halloween movies. It's quite fun actually having a Halloween film every Halloween. So I enjoy that. But as I was saying before, the old ones are definitely the best. Every Halloween or whatever, I'll always go back to the old classic horror films of like, I don't know, my favorite horror film of all time.
Yes.
All right, I got 3. All right, so my top 3 would have to be
okay, 3.
Because it's got to be 3.
Okay,
Unlucky
3.
number. The Bride of Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, such a classic, makes me cry every time. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. I still think, for its time, that was an incredible concept to have. And I don't know if you know this one, Phantasm. Don't know if you've heard of that one.
No.
Phantasm is Toby, have you heard of Phantasm? Have you seen Phantasm?
Oh, I don't know that one either, actually.
I'm not the only one.
Right. Okay.
Phew.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So your homework: go away and watch Phantasm.
I will. I promise.
It's the worst best horror movie ever made. So I always have time for it, and it has an incredible soundtrack. Toby.
When did it?
That's an arrow for you.
When you say worst best movies, I'm thinking of the 90s stuff like Ginger Snaps that came out in like the Buffy era.
Oh no, this is much worse better than that.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. It has a great soundtrack. The story is very ropey, and I think it involves the undead / aliens. And there's a big silver ball that chases you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's the worst?
I like it.
Then the worst movie you have watched? Horror movie. Horror.
Worst
because
horror
I guess there's
movie.
other genres. What's the worst of all?
I've seen.
You can choose. Only one.
Okay, no worries. I'll repeat myself. It's there's a film on Amazon called Velocipasta, which is about a priest who turns into a dinosaur and kills everyone.
That's up there.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I need to watch this now.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's like a car crash and then it pans away and it just says like stop flames.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford the flames. It's fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't think of a worst horror movie. Normally because I try to erase them out of my brain after I've seen them. I do have a bit of a controversial one actually. Actually, I'm not going to mention that one because everyone loves that horror film.
Go on then.
What was it?
No, it's The Exorcist.
Oh, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Controversial. I know it's controversial, but I just think.
But I know The Exorcist is one of my favorite films. You can't say that.
Oh, we need to have a chat about this one
it's not great, but it's pretty ominous near the end. But yeah, I mean, the pea green soup vomit is pretty bad. But
I think because it got blown up, the hype got blown. And I saw it when I was quite young as well. But when it got blown up, I don't know. I thought there were scarier movies. And Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 scared me more than that film.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I have a terrible one myself.
Go on.
The worst I have watched in horror, it's a movie called The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for that.
Which is absolutely terrible.
That sounds amazing.
It's exactly how it sounds. Exactly how it sounds.
I'm going to need to check these all out. These are some great non-recommendations that I need to watch.
This is always my top one for the worst movies. And from there, you have a lot of recommendations like The Attack of the, how was it? Of the Crazy Couch, The Killer Bed, there's a lot of this kind of things, domestic things eating you alive.
Yeah,
That's
like a fun game. of like Attack of the Killer, and then like everything must exist. Everything you can think of must exist. Attack of the Killer, anything.
Exactly. You'll never see your bed as the same again. You're gonna sleep on the floor all your life.
Maybe we're missing a trick here. Maybe we need to set our next film in IKEA.
I mean, IKEA is already a horror movie in and of itself.
Yeah, I lost some good friends in IKEA.
When you don't come out.
They never come out.
Yeah.
Like this
Makes
guy
sense.
that they find him because he changed the arrows in the floor, in IKEA.
Right.
So people got lost inside because he messed with the arrows. So everyone got lost and no one could get out of IKEA, and they find him. And I was like, you don't have to give him a fine. He deserves a medal. I mean, I should have had that idea. I should have been the one doing that. Exactly. He's a genius.
What was that last bit? I'm not writing this down at all in any way.
I was just going to say that's like a perfect horror movie in and of itself.
There you go.
Amazing. There's a lot of genius out there.
Furniture of the dead. I like that.
Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure if you made a movie of this kind, like The Killer Tomatoes, who is so old school, I think it would be so famous because we're so used to this commercial kind of Hollywood kind of movies that they're not scary at all. If someone did something so sensorial and so like, this bottle is trying to kill me, and it's looking me weird. So I think it would be really a hit. So
yeah, completely. I mean, say about modern horror films, and I think James Wan does a great job at the moment. Was it Malignant? That was a great film. And there's a new film out that we were talking about earlier called Censor, which I think came out from the UK, which I haven't seen it yet, but I've been hearing lots of good things about it. And that kind of gives me a little bit of hope that, the horror film isn't dead. It's going to come back in a big way, just not with the big studios.
No. All the good movies I have watched have been underground. Many of them. The movies that I receive, like to review, inquiries to review and all of that, they end up being the best ones I have watched. Much more than the ones, because sometimes I get in Netflix and Amazon Prime and these platforms to just watch a bit what's going on, to be a bit in the surface of what the normal people are watching. And it's a disappointment. Mostly all of that. So
the big studios as well don't want to go more challenging stuff as well. Like all the sort of films and stuff that you get. Like what was that? There was one that came out last year about that girl that wanted to like eat strange objects. Stuff like that is like never going to be on big studio. Yeah, Aaron, you're looking at me really crazy. Was it Raw where she was a cannibal and she had like household object stuff as well? That was really crazy. Like big studios are never going to do that, but that was like really popular in like the horror genre. But like the like you said, big studios only want to do stuff that's a sure bet nowadays.
They want to get to a wider audience. I mean, if the horror is lighter, they can get to a thriller audience, to fantasy audience, because it's not as disgusting or as horrifying. I think that's the thing. Exactly. The wider they get, the more money they make, right?
Yeah, but the bar's been like pushed pretty high as well when it comes to like how much you can show on screen, like horror movies. So they're, something truly challenging. It's never going to be on a big studio because they are not.
Yeah. And
yeah, exactly.
One thing that now, because I don't want to miss this, I always ask to everyone, if you had to choose one superpower, which one would be?
Oh,
it's a difficult one,
this before. If I had a superpower, I would have Toby's. I think it was invisibility. No, I don't want invisibility. No, that one's creepy. I want the ability to be able to teleport.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, you stole my one. Okay. Well, I'm going to go invisibility then if you're going to say teleport.
You can have the same if you want. I have no rules.
Mix it up. Say invisible.
I think I'd be a cat because every day I look at my cat. He doesn't have to go to work. He doesn't even have to like deal with his own poop. He gets fed. He doesn't have to pay for anything. I'm just like, yeah, I wish I had your life.
Yeah.
It's a good life. The cat's wife. Life, sorry. Cat's wife. Life.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Mine is always to breathe underwater. Because I think the ocean horror is a very terrifying one. And I was thinking, like I could breathe underwater and see what's really down there. It's always something in my mind.
like
Yes. I had nightmares with that when I was a kid. So now when I think of it, that's a good one. So we're running out of time. This is so fun. We need to make another round of this. Sorry.
We'll make an annual thing.
Annual,
Yes.
no, earlier than that. Not 1 year.
Twice yearly.
Thank you so much for your time, for being here with us. We'll link everything below, all your links, all your news that you have, and please keep me updated of everything, because I think you're doing an amazing job and you deserve all the success you're getting. And
Thank you.
I appreciate so much your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.